and welcome. You're watching NewsX and NewsX World, and I'm Megha Sharma. The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has held talks with Rabi Lamichhane, who's the chairperson of Nepal's ruling party, Rashtriya Swatantra Party. This meeting has happened in New Delhi. The chairperson of the Nepalese ruling party has been in India since yesterday, and he has been given a red carpet welcome. From meeting the Indian Union Home Minister Amit Shah to having a conversation with the External Affairs Minister of India, Mr. S. Jaishankar, there have been a plethora of meetings that have been brought in for the visit of Rabi Lamichhane. To discuss the India-Nepal relations under the new ruling party of Nepal, that is, of course, led by the youth leader of the country, Balin Shah, is joining me on the telecast right now is the former Nepalese Prime Minister, Dr. Baburam Bhattarai. Dr. Baburam Bhattarai. Dr. Baburam Bhattarai, thank you very much for joining us and speaking to us about the future of India-Nepal relations, and more particularly about the meeting, a series of meetings in fact that have happened and are also lined up for the Nepalese ruling party chairperson Rabi Lamichhane.
Yeah, thank you. No, I think this is a very good initiative both sides have taken up. So I've been pleading over the years we should have more interaction at the topmost political level first, then only government and bureaucratic level can follow. I think the new government which has been formed in Nepal under the leadership of a really new party, Rashtriya Swatantra Party, its chairman Rabi Lamichhane now in Delhi. So I think it's a very positive development.
Now the first question I do want to ask you is, what is it that you're hopeful for with the great pomp and show that has been displayed by the Indian government, the ruling political party in India, the BJP itself, for welcoming the RSP chairman Rabi Lamichhane?
No, you see, in Nepal, we have gone a very amazing change this year. In the aftermath of the Gen Z movement in the last October, there was a big resentment against the old political forces, and in the subsequent election held in March, the new party, RSP, which is still to take a real shape, has come out as not only the largest party, near 2/3 majority in parliament. So this could be a very good opportunity to start anew in the internal politics as well as in the foreign relations. The last month, I think in March when I was in Delhi in the next conference, so I had hinted with my friends in Delhi whom I talked, this could be a good opportunity to reset Nepal-India relations and take new heights. I think with the visit of Mr. Rabi Lamichhane, I think that the now ground has been set. I think now things would follow in the right direction.
Now, you've also written extensively on the Bilateral Investments Forum and an eminent persons group to improve the India-Nepal associations. What do you think are the prospects of achieving this humongous task?
I think both sides, in India and Nepal, both sides first have a understanding at the highest political level, and then they should sort out the core issues pending since history and the major issues that matter currently. So then we should prioritize which issues to be focused on first. So with my experience as a Prime Minister of Nepal, and when I also initiated some landmark moves like signing a BIPA agreement or bilateral investment and protection agreement, and followed by constitution of a eminent persons group to review whole gamut of problems between the two countries and restate it as required by the 21st century's development in both the countries. So, but these things didn't take root because of political instability in Nepal and political change in India. Now I think it's the right time to follow it up, because in India also there is a very stable government led by Mr. Modi, and Nepal also now we have a government with near 2/3 majority. If both sides sit down, work out the major core issues, which in my understanding are two. Firstly, so there are issues related with the security on the part of India,
Right.
and the question of sovereignty and some disputed border on the part of Nepal. This is one issue which is pending for a long time. And the second issue, and the most important issue right now, which has been rightly raised by Mr. Ravi Lansane in the article published in the Hindustan Times yesterday, is the developmental issue, developmental partnership between India and Nepal. I think these are the two core issues. So the priorities can be worked out. Let them do it. I think they are in a position to make a good start.
I was going to ask about what may have been the reason for the Nepalese Prime Minister Balin Shah for talking about those territorial disputes that you just mentioned on the floor of the House a few days ago.
No, you were just answering to the question raised by the Member of Parliament. That happens in parliamentary democracy. In our Parliament, we have made a provision every month, I think first week of a day, Prime Minister will be present, and some members will ask questions and you will reply extempore. So that way, this was his first experience. Our Prime Minister is very new, just a 36-year-old engineer turned politician, Mr. Balendra Shah. So he just replied the question raised by the Member of Parliament, and there has been some ripples going on that. I don't think that deserves to be picked up and discussed beyond the required limit.
You know, there was one thing in particular he spoke about. He said that there should be intervention of the United Kingdom. He said he has already approached them. Why do you think Nepal wants a colonial power invited back to discuss the border mess that was created by them in the first place? And India's position on this matter has been very clear, that it has already been rejected any third party intervention in the matter. Do you think that UK can, in all practical purposes, be part of any solution? And don't you think it's a bilateral issue between India and Nepal, and aren't we more than enough, competent enough to resolve it amongst ourselves?
No, in my understanding, I think such issues, such sensitive issues, like the sovereignty and the border issues and the security issues, need to be discussed closed door at the highest level, and not make a mess of it publicly. But in parliamentary democracy, it happens. It's a very messy type of system, you see. So I wouldn't like to indulge in it more. But what I would like to reiterate at this point is, when the then Gorkha Empire which was stretched from Tista in the east to the Satluj in the west. After the Gorkha British War in 1814-16, a treaty at Sugauli was signed, and Nepal's boundary was limited from Mesi River in the east to the Kali River in the west. So it was not defined. Mesi River was correctly demarcated, but the Mahakali River was not correctly demarcated. Since that day, since that time, this issue is pending. You see, it is not being resolved. So we have a high-level mechanism to work on these issues, and there are other part of the political boundary also. There are some certain dispute. Most of them have been resolved, and both sides have agreed that issue in Kalapani, Lipu Lake, Limpayadura, which is the border of the Mahakali River. According to our understanding, Nepalese understanding, it lies east of the Mahakali River, and there has been some dispute from the Indian side. The other issue has been in the Susta area, where the Gandak River has changed its course. So these things should be discussed through the mechanism. Border mechanism is already there, and if needed at the highest level, and it should be resolved, and it can be resolved. But why our Prime Minister just inadvertently raised the question was because this issue is raised is pending since the British days. That is why while replying in the Parliament, he just mentioned this issue, but it should be resolved bilaterally. There is no doubt about it. But history is history, see, so you should know the background also. I think that is what he meant.
Okay. You have also suggested that the Indian youth and the Nepali youth should connect with one another on face value, which is always good. But in the current context, some might suspect that this amounts to suggesting India needs to follow Nepal's example of a street revolution, of a youth revolution. Do you think that is being implied?
No. I said there is no political issues are an internal matter of a particular country. That in a parliamentary democracy, political parties change. People have every right to change their leaders and they choose their parties. In India, they may choose a particular party. In Nepal, there is another party. So we shouldn't go about the political parties and the political system. In the foreign relations, the national interest of the countries matter. I see this is the established rule and practice. So in between Nepal and India, since we are the closest neighbors, we have more than 100,000 miles of open border. So we need to sit down and resolve these issues through talks and not indulge in other issues. And Mr. Ravi Lamitshane has very rightly raised the issue of development cooperation as the priority issue. Even my understanding was the same. When I visited Delhi as a Prime Minister in 2011, I signed that bilateral investment agreement because my understanding also was these boundary issues are very tricky and sensitive issues. It will take some more time. We can take time, but the developmental issues, bread and butter issues of the people are the urgent matters. So we should focus on that. For the security part of India, which naturally they are quite sensitive as a rising power. In the coming decade, the Himalayan region is likely to be an area of contention, geopolitical contention between big powers. So Nepal understands that. These issues, such issues, should be discussed quietly and very responsibly among the top leadership and resolved. And at the moment, as Mr. Lamitshane has correctly raised, we should focus on developmental issues because only the developed Nepal, prosperous Nepal, will be a guarantee for security of India and for Nepal's youths also, who are forced to migrate in millions for jobs. They can stay in their own country and this way, this will be a win-win situation for both sides.
I also want to ask from you your perspective on this new cockroach Janata Party phenomenon that has emerged in India.
I think it is not proper for me to comment on that. It's an internal matter of India. Let Indian people decide. I shouldn't comment on such issues.
Also because some people, political pundits are coming out and saying that it is a phenomenon that is being replicated from the Nepal revolution model that brought about the leadership of Balendra Shah. Some people are purporting it as a youth movement which is gaining quite the momentum and a lot of followers, particularly the youth.
Now, of course, the youth movement is there everywhere in the globally also that phenomenon is there. A few years back, I think the Prime Minister of New Zealand and Prime Minister of Finland, I think they were just about some 30, 35 years old people. So it happened. So in Nepal also we have had a very young Prime Minister. We are quite happy about it. But that doesn't mean only the youth can lead. You see, even the old people have their own experiences. That also matters. It's not the question of age. You see, it's your outlook, your capability to lead the country and solve the current problems between the nations. So I think it's not a question of age. It is a question of capacity of the leadership. I think that matters.
How is Nepal faring with the rising oil prices due to the West Asia war that the world is witnessing?
Now, of course, we are facing a difficult situation because we don't produce any oil. We have to import from outside, and mostly it comes, almost all it comes from India. So the rising price is having a very adverse impact on the economy. That's why we're trying to shift to green energy, mostly the hydroelectric power. Still, it will take more time. Till then, we have to import it. And I think for that also, we need a cooperation with India because we have to import most of our fuel from India.
So, are you hopeful of any assistance from India for the people of Nepal as the oil, gas and fertilizer crises get worse?
Of course, we need cooperation from our friends in India. They have been cooperative also so far, though historically our economic partnership has been very unbalanced because of our own misdoing, you see, because we failed to transform our economy from an agro-based economy to an industrial and service-based economy in time. That is why we have to import most of the finished products and other raw material also from outside. So for that we are totally dependent on our imports. So unless we solve that problem on a long-term basis, we need a good cooperation support from the Indian side, and I hope the good cooperation on this field will continue in the days to come.
Dr. Baburam Bhattarai, thank you very much for speaking to us on NewsX and NewsX World.
Okay, thank you so much.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on this bulletin. It was an interesting conversation from the former Nepal Prime Minister, his perspective on the ruling party and the overall approach that has been taken by the Indian government in rolling out the red carpet for the chair of the ruling party of Nepal. Thanks for watching NewsX.